Hey, Chris Grove here with another video. Today we are talking about something different. I don't know, I just felt like doing something different. Not doing a movie review today. We'll do again soon, but right now I just want to talk about kind of some podcasting stuff, just some real life stuff. And the main topic I want to start off with is how to maintain your Zen self in a chaotic work week. Especially on a Monday when you're going in and, life is just crazy and chaotic, and you might find your Zen self over the weekend, and then you go back to work and it's like, okay, everything's crazy again. And just the anxiety is high and you're just trying to figure it out and not lose your shit too much. So that's what I want to focus on today, as just one topic, and that might bleed into other topics, so we'll see how that goes. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with that. So for the last 3 years, um, ever since my breakup, and the pandemic, I've been really doing some soul searching and trying to find my Zen place, my happy place. And I find it, but then I realize, you know, Monday comes and you go into the office and it's a crazy time of year and everything just gets crazy. Um, and you're like, well, how do I navigate this? How do I get back into my Zen bubble? And should it really be a Zen bubble, or should it just be a Zen philosophy? Because you don't want to just trap yourself in your own ivory tower world, do we? I mean, we don't want to do that. So, how do we do this so it works better? Um, my thoughts, and these are just my thoughts, and I don't have all the solutions. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe, and talk about your experiences, by all means do so. I would love that. So if you happen to stumble across this channel by accident or on purpose, please do. And that would be really absolutely wonderful. I work in college admissions, and right now is our busy time. We have a fake deadline for the real deadline, which is in February when we have the scholarship deadline. But right now it's like, hey kids, don't procrastinate. Just get your stuff in now. And it's we're now under Common App, which is the new hip thing that college admissions are doing. Hey kids, pick your five, top schools, and we'll process all your stuff for you. And hopefully you come to our school. And the recruiters love it because it puts us on the map. But as far as we are concerned, we having to actually process all their transcripts and everything, it becomes a little daunting. And it's now we're doing like 5 times the work. So it's different, and they may or may not come to our institution in the long run. There's no guarantee. If you are applying under Common App, you're picking your top 5 schools. So who knows where you'll end up. So that's happening, and there's a lot of stress and chaos and new stuff, and we have our dean has a new dean, and just a lot of stuff happening in our world at the institution I work for. So it's rather daunting here and there. And this year, more daunting than other years during our crunch time, as we call it. So everyone has a busy time of year, no matter what you do for a living. Most people have a busy time of year, or a crunch time, if you will. How do you navigate that without losing your cool, getting stressed out, feeling anxious, fighting that ever-loving anxiety, maybe being depressed? How do you stay within your Zen self, if that's the philosophy you want to portray? My feeling is go ahead and own that. Own what you feel and be like, hey, I'm feeling kind of stressed out right now. It's Monday. All the stuff just came in now, and everyone wants it done now. And everyone's working on it. But I feel like I'm the only one doing it now, especially if you're kind of in an isolated area and you feel like you're just doing everyone's work, which, typically you're not, but you feel like you are sometimes. Well, the first thing I like to do is just recognize that everyone is going through this. Everyone is feeling that. And so, therefore, you don't have to be alone. And it gives you a sense of community. Like, hey, you can revel in others, in other people's anxiety and kind of get in tune with what they're feeling, what they're going through right now. And that helps, I think, a lot. So, also taking a deep breath before you realize that, just, if you want to count to 10, fine. I'm not really a count to 10 kind of guy, but if that works for you, do it. Whatever works for you, do it. But recognize, the big takeaway is recognize that you are not alone in that situation. And secondly, just, okay, I'm going to do what I can do today. And whatever doesn't get done, we will tackle tomorrow, because it will still be there tomorrow. And that's the best advice I can give. Now, if you're stumbling across this channel and you're like, hey, I know something better, by all means do share, because I would love to know. And I'm sure there are better ways of dealing with all of this. But I would love to be able to podcast for a living. My tech skills are not all that, as you can tell with the quality of my videos. So, I know how to edit certain scenes and, certain stills, I should say, in my film reviews. But I am not the tech savvy guy that, is going to save the day with his tech knowledge. That's just not me. But I do have a lot of real world knowledge that I think is helpful. I've been watching a lot of podcasts lately. I love guys like Aaron Doughty, who is a life coach. I don't think he's, he just kind of decided he wanted to do it one day. He's not exactly licensed. I don't know. He might be licensed now, but he just said, hey, I want to stop selling women's shoes and just become a life coach, and with a very spiritual center, I should say. Another channel I love is Z-Dog MD. Really good. He's like I think a retired Stanford doctor, now, or semi-retired, I think, who's now basically doing podcasts and talking about awakenings and spiritual awakenings and what it means to be awake, spiritually speaking. And it's pretty good stuff. It's great stuff to kind of listen to like before bed when you're just kind of chilling out and just want to kind of unwind from the day and just relax your mind in a positive way. I would say Z-Dog or Aaron Doughty are your guys. And I would eventually, like when I'm not doing film reviews, to do that as well, to be that guy. And I see a lot of things being missed in some of the podcasts. Like, I love all their content, which is great, but there are certain things I'd like to talk about that I can talk about. They talk a lot about relationships, broken relationships, how to heal relationships, what to do when you're obsessed on an ex. Never been there before. I have no idea what they're talking about. I genuinely love my ex. I really do. I miss her a lot. But I wouldn't say I hope I'm not obsessed with her. I mean, I don't call her every day. I don't ring her doorbell and run away, or, I don't do any like stalker behavior or anything like that. Thank God. But I would love to heal. And I've reached out saying, hey, I'd love to heal, via text. And I even thought about doing a video. I thought, oh God, that's heavy handed, you know, but maybe that's what, where it's at. I mean, maybe that's, you know, how I can at least purge some of my feelings, even if she doesn't feel like talking. And right now, she doesn't feel like talking. And it's been 3 years. So who knows if she'll ever feel like talking, you know? It's right now, it doesn't look good. But people do tend to come around and surprise you sometimes. But they gotta come around their own time if they're gonna come around at all. So, that being said, and knowing that logically, how does that help deal with the feelings you feel? There's a lot of things on how to get over your ex and meet new people and all this stuff. But no one ever talks about how to stop missing your ex or how to really stop, yeah, how to stop missing your ex and how to stop, you know, thinking that they are always like you had the best thing and you blow it, man. Like how to get over that thing. Because that's not necessarily the case. And how do you meet new people? Especially, they talk about young people being like lonely, and especially young men being lonely. You know, I'm 50, you know, I mean, and now I'm kind of 3 years out of a 9-year relationship who, you know, I thought she was the one. And now I'm like, okay, well, what do we do now? And, you know, you go on Match or whatever and online dating, and it seems all very superficial and supercilious and daunting. And what do you know, how do you really get real with people? Um, and occasionally you find someone who's really real and you can be yourself with. And I think the best policy is just be honest with them. You know, hey, I, I'm still in love with my ex, but I'm really trying here. You know, and I'm trying to break out. And that might not be the first thing you say to them, but it should be something that honesty should be there at some point, especially if you sense that you're getting close with someone else. Gotta be like, okay, we gotta have this conversation. And don't be afraid to keep it real with people. They might not like it, and they might say, well, I can't deal with that right now. And that's okay. And they might say, sayonara, you know, see ya. But, you know, it could be something that blossoms into kind of a mutual understanding. Maybe they're feeling the same way about their ex. I don't know. Now you have this sort of mutual, you know, misery society of missing each other's exes, or missing your ex with, you know, and they're missing their ex, and you can compare notes. Yeah, not missing each other's exes. That would be weird. Anyway, so yeah, it's those are all things to consider. Those are things I want to talk about more, and so I'm starting today. And I I don't really have any ideas other than sometimes when you're missing someone and you're focusing on them, just get out of your own way and start helping someone else. Focus on something else. Um, Take a drive with a friend, you know, go to lunch with a friend, you know, just do other things to distract yourself. Do a YouTube video. They always work, you know, good distraction. Um, so those are my thoughts on that. And as I get deeper into this, I'll probably have more in-depth thoughts on it. But those are just my off-the-cuff thoughts. This is the second, you know, non-film review video I've done, so I'm kind of keeping it a little like, let's just kind of have, let's not get too deep, but let's get a little deep. Kind of, that's where I'm at. So, kind of testing it out and feeling it out, and just trying to be honest, you know, with where I'm at with the process as well. So, nothing more than that. So, moving along. one thing I've did this weekend that was kind of out of my little bubble that I normally do is well, I've been attending Catholic Mass via Zoom. My mom and some of her friends and uh, a good priest friend of ours who used to be my neighbor, now he lives in San Diego, do this Catholic Mass via Zoom ever since the pandemic. And it started off with a very progressive group of Catholics and some Episcopalians getting together and saying, hey, we want to reform the Catholic Church, and we're all kind of progressive minded and that kind of thing. And we all start doing mass together. And there's people now, like we have a lady from Cincinnati. Most of us are out on the West Coast, but we do have this lady from Cincinnati, and she's great, and we want to keep her, cued in. And so we're just doing this thing via Zoom. And by the way, I've always been told, hey, if you want to meet people, go to church. I'm like, well, I'm not going to meet anyone in this group because they're like friends of my mom's and this priest guy. So, that's kind of probably not going to happen there. But they're a fascinating group, and I feel very comfortable asking awkward questions too about Catholicism, because I'm just kind of learning myself. I'm not a devout Catholic by any means. My mom was a nun, so she is, but she kind of got out of it. I was never really hardcore raised in the Catholic Church. Went to mass a few times here and there, but nothing major. And she really is crusading to change the church. She wants to allow priests to marry and for women to become priests, and acceptance of racial and gender differences and all that. So I say good on her for doing it, and I totally support her. And so this thing we had this yesterday was called a synod. Today we did have a mass, but a synod is basically people, this group of progressive Catholics kicking over ideas to improve the Catholic Church. And I left this thing feeling exhausted because I realized there's going to be some difference in opinion. Like, everyone wants to change the Catholic Church. Everyone has different ideas on how to change that. And this is globally, not locally. This is, so people in Africa are a little more conservative than the people, in the States perhaps, and vice versa, and on other issues. And so, you have a lot of different viewpoints coming in all at once, and obviously everyone is not going to agree on everything. So how do you get people to compromise? I don't know. Especially on this, and there are some people that only believe that's, people that believe in the catechism, I believe, can only receive communion, and those who can't don't. And who cares? Why should we, why do you care about this rule, this hard and fast rule? Well, because I was raised with it, and I've been brainwashed with it, and it's basically what I feel throughout my entire being. I'm like, well, okay, fine. Well, can you tell your being to just chill out just a little bit and maybe think about it more, with an open mind? Open mind? What's that? That's what happens when you think about other viewpoints that people may have. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. So you run into that. You run into those problems. So how do we navigate all that? I don't know. I don't know how to navigate any of that. And I'm not a part of these synods. Usually they're at 4 a.m. our time. Or, they're when I'm working. So this is on a Saturday at 10 a.m. So I'm like, okay, I can do this. But just listening to them talk, and I was mainly just asking questions. I felt very overwhelmed for everyone involved, because this is a huge undertaking, especially trying to change the church globally, not just your own local parish or whatever, but the whole church globally. Plus, you got to deal with the people in Rome, and some of these people have been to Rome. My mom's been to Rome. Kathleen, a good friend of ours, and in our Synod and Mass, part of our Eucharistic community, goes to Rome, or went to Rome with her. So yeah, I mean, this sounds like a new thing and a new distraction to, kind of take my mind off of some of my stuff, and work and missing the ex and all that. And I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I can jive with this. So that's a distraction, and it's also probably a healthy one. There are some healthy and unhealthy distractions out there. One of my issues, and I touched on it, I think, in the last non-review video I made, is alcohol and drinking. And, sometimes drinking and partying can be a distraction. I'm 50. So for me, it's difficult I don't party like I used to. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know there's a lot of people that used to party big time, and then they realize, okay, and they maybe, kind of stop for a while, and then they kind of, in moderation, we finally found out what moderation means. And I would say it took me a while to find out what moderation means, but I'm there, and it feels good now. It feels comfortable. So that's good. But I went to rehab. I stopped drinking for a period of time, and then I reintroduced it kind of slowly, and then balanced out where I kind of need to be. I noticed that, when you go to certain parties like New Year's or something, you really have to be mindful of, okay, the alcohol is flowing, people are having a good time. Don't overdo it. Just really don't overdo it. Pace yourself, have a good time, be safe, all that stuff, and mean it and really live by it. Because when you don't, things can kind of go off the rails. So that's something that I've had to be mindful of big time. So this is just kind of a real video to talk about real life stuff. And I'm citing examples from my life. And as I'm talking about it, I'm realizing that I'm not the only one. I mean, I've known this before, but, so many people are dealing with these issues. That's why I'm bringing them up. It's not like, let's talk about me for however long this is. It's been, 22 minutes so far. But I want to do more of these. I want to do... Like I said the last time I did one, I said I want to do more of these, and this is the second one I've done. Like I said, film reviews are easy to do. Well, they're more focused. There's the editing part, which I got stills down pretty well, but eventually I'd like to add in scenes here, or stills where they're meant to be, because I'm still learning editing, and not very quickly apparently. I get waylaid by my job and other distractions, but today was a good day and just wanted to take time to do this video. And if you saw this video and you like it, you want to see more of these, and you want to talk about a certain topic that you think is relevant, by all means, I want to hear what that is, and we'll definitely talk about it. So probably end it here for now. We'll do more of these. I say we, like it's, like there's many of me. I'm talking about, I'd like to build a community. So I do have someone who chimes in on all my videos, but I'd like to expand. And thank you for chiming in, by the way. She knows who she is. Anyway, thank you for watching and taking part of this, and feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace out. Take care.